You're listening to the LSG Sports Network, the authority on Texas high school football. Welcome to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm Chris Doelle, and it's my belief that the men that make up the fraternity of Texas high school football coaches are much more than a bunch of thick-necked guys with whistles. They do so much more than teach technique and the X's and O's of football. They take young boys and change them into young men of character. They get kids to believe in themselves, to trust others, and to put others ahead of themselves. Texas high school football coaches are unique in how they impact the lives of these athletes as well as the generations those kids touch. In this show, I sit down with a different Texas high school football coach each time and learn about them. Not their record, not their on-field accomplishments, but who they are and what they believe and what it means to be part of the greatest sport in the greatest state. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Chris Doelle. This is Season 5, Episode 2. Today, we're going out to East Texas to talk with West Orange-Stark head coach Cornel Thompson. He is one of my absolute favorites. I've been interviewing him for years, whether it's at a game or a playoff or coaching school. He is just a fun guy to talk to. And his passion for this game and these kids comes through every time you talk to him. I will introduce you to him right after this. Hey, I want to give a big thank you to this season's title sponsor, Mecca Sportswear, where they are all about celebrating achievement. They're honored that so many high schools, colleges, and universities have chosen Mecca's products to represent their institutions. Mecca supplies you with the very best in custom letter jackets, chenille letters, patches, blankets, banners, pins, certificates, and much more to motivate and celebrate achievement in athletics, academics, or the arts. They create high-quality custom awards that will fit your budget. To see why so many great schools around Texas choose Mecca Sportswear, call Sherry Armstrong or Billy Armstrong at 210-651-6592. Mecca Sportswear, the premier suppliers of letter jackets and awards for over 40 years.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Power Plus Mouth Guard. What is that? Well, it's a mouth guard that helps you perform better and also increases your strength, your balance, your stamina, reduces the G-forces which are found in concussions. And the way it does that is it aligns your jaw properly. So this mouthpiece not only protects you, but it's going to help you breathe better. And that's really what it comes down to. It puts your airways in a better alignment, and so that helps you breathe better, that helps you have better balance, helps you have better stamina, the more oxygen getting to your brain, the more oxygen getting to your muscles, and that's where this mouth guard can help you. So you can check them out online. Just go to powerplusmouthguard.com. All you have to do is hit / and shop, and it'll show you all the mouthpieces they have. But check them out and check out the website. Dr. Michael Hutchinson is the one who has designed this new technology, and I really do think it is very forward-thinking in helping reduce concussions, in helping you be more alert late in the game when you're going to be tired, your muscles are tired, lack of oxygen is starting to affect you. This mouth guard will help you in getting more oxygen to you. So check them out, powerplusmouthguard.com.
All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Cornel Thompson from West Orange-Stark to the show. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, Chris. It's another great day at West Orange-Stark.
I love it. Well, as much as I love during the regular season talking to you about the team, this show, we're going to talk about you. So I want to jump back to your earliest interaction with high school football, whether it was playing it or coaching. You tell me, how did you start?
Well, I'm a graduate of West Orange High School. I played at West Orange right here. I'm a homeboy.
Nice.
I played football and ran track, pole vaulted a little bit, and baseball, and I tore my knees up. I've had my knee tore up in high school and college, so I ended up playing college baseball as a catcher, and went on to junior college and played at Panola Junior College on a scholarship, and then captain there, was a little All-American, and went on to McNeese State and was captain there as a catcher, and was all-conference that final year, and then I was a free agent with the Cincinnati Reds later on.
Nice.
And,
nice. That catcher position tells me a lot about you.
Yes. See, and I always wanted to, but I really coming out of high school, I wanted to play football at McNeese. Well, I go and I'm on baseball scholarship after I left junior college, and I tried to play baseball over there. Tried to play baseball. Hubert Bowles being my coach back then, I went out for football there and tore my knee up again. Had it injured again, and but I was ready for baseball season, so that it limited my. I always wanted to be a college football player, and so never got that full opportunity. But I'm a heck of a lot. I'd like to think I'm a better coach than I was a player. And then I finished my college work at McNeese, but only got my graduate work done in 4 summers in a row. And my first coaching job, I was offered coaches at jobs in Louisiana, over at Westlake in Louisiana and Morgan City, but I wanted to come back to Texas. And my first job was a little school, Kirbyville, Texas.
Nice.
And I was there for 2 years, and we were 11-1 2 years in a row. We had an athlete named Ernest Bubba Bean that went to A&M started for 4 years. He played for 6 years for the Atlanta Falcons. And but that was my beginning of my high school coaching, and I was a secondary coach and helped with the running backs. And then I moved on to Stark High School here in Orange, Texas. And I was the defensive end coach and the head baseball coach there until we merged, and that went on from 72 to 77. And we became West Orange-Stark High School. And Coach Steve McCarty was given the dubious job of putting Stark High School here in Orange-Stark, and West Orange under the same roof into one, and he kept me on his staff.
And what was the rationale, and why did they merge the schools?
Well, it ended up that West Orange over here was Chemical Row, and West Orange had all the keeper of the coins. They had all the money. It was in our school district, and then Stark High School was what it was about. We came under the same umbrella area as far as the school district was concerned, and it was become the West Orange Cove Consolidated Independent School District. Now, Stark High kept its identity over there, because that happened in the early 70s. But then we went on to 77, and because of the loss of American Bridge and Livingston Shipbuilding here started going down. And now they completely went down in 82, I believe it was. But lots of students and people leaving town here, so they merged the two schools under one single scoreboard. And, of course, West Orange was the, keeper of the coins. They had the money. So when we merged in 77, Coach Steve McCarty was given the job of merging two staffs, and he kept me on his staff. Some coaches, 2 or 3 retired, 2 or 3 more left town, and he kept me on his staff as his linebacker coach, and that began in 77. And we went to the playoffs the first time in 1979. Coach McCarty left and went to Nacogdoches High School, and then Coach Dan Ray Hooks became the head coach of the Mustangs. Well, Dan Ray was a defensive line coach, and I was a linebacker coach. And all I wanted to be at that time was a defensive coordinator. He made me his first assistant and his defensive coordinator, and I held that position until 99. Okay, and of course we won state championships in '85. Yates beat us and went on won the state championship in 5A. And we played them closer than anybody. Then we dropped down to 4A in 86, won the state championship, 86, 87, got beat by Paris in 88. We were pretty as far as being in the playoffs after that all through the 90s. We played for the state championship in 2000. I left in 2000 and went took a little job in Palestine, Texas, where there was a kid up there named Adrian Peterson, who was in Palestine, but he went to Westwood. He transferred over. When I came in, he transferred over, and he was one of my tailbacks, and I was only there 1 year. I left after that. I lost my father. I lost my father. My father had open heart surgery, so on and so forth, and then I felt like I needed to move back closer to home, but I didn't get that close. I ended up going to Huntsville, Texas for 2 years as a defensive coordinator under Mark Foreman, who was on my staff at Palestine. Of course, I got to coach with my son at Palestine and Huntsville, and that's one of the reasons I went there. So after the 2 years there, I was going to retire.
Right.
For about 33 years. Coach Hooks called me and told me, said, "You're not ready to retire. No, I got to have you back here." So I came back in 2004, and from 2004 to 2010, I was a defensive coordinator again here. In 2010, Coach Hooks retired. I got the job in 11, and I've been the head coach here the last 9 years, and we've been fortunate enough to go to the fourth round all 9 years in a row, and a play here, a play there. We've been in the state championship in my tenure 4 times, and a play here, a play there. We could have been as many as 6 times. So we've had good athletes. It's not about me. It's about my coaching staff and about the players we've had here. So, and it's really been fun. This is I'm finishing number 49, and I'm going to try number 50. One more time. So that's been it's just like I told my wife. Whenever I go, what you put down on the bottom of my tombstone, it's been fun, because it has been. I don't know what I'd have done with a real job. I really enjoy what I'm doing.
Well, that's one thing I've always liked about you is you've always got such a good attitude. It's always positive. You're always smiling.
Thank you. Thank you. Not always, though. You don't come to practice and see us at practice, do you?
Well, I say we don't talk about those days.
That's right. So,
so if you could talk about, you mentioned about your staff and about the kids. How do you get a community like West Orange-Stark that seems to have it all the time?
Well, I've been asking that question. I'm asked that question at least once or twice every year when I speak. I'm fixing to go down to McAllen and speak at that clinic for a second time, and the coach Cerna called me. He said I was the most guy that they wanted to come back, that they wanted to bring back in, suggested speaker. So I appreciate that. But answer your question, it is a family affair. Many of the names haven't changed here. We're playing with brothers, cousins, sons. We're into third generation players now that their daddies played for us. Some of their grandpas played for us back when, so that's the bottom line. They know coming in here, what the program's, what solid foundation has been built on. They know what it takes to be a Mustang. Not all of them make it, but a bunch of them do. That's been a big deal. The other thing is I've got coaches on my staff that I'm a 40-year guy. I've got a 30-year guy who's been with us now 6-7 years. But then you got Coach Dyer, the offensive coordinator, and he and I have been together 20-something years. My defensive coordinator, Mike Pierce, has did his student teaching in the 90s under us, so we've been together for 20-something years, 25 years or so. Coach Terry Joe Ramsey is my quarterback coach. He's got 30 years under his belt. So got a Randy Ragsdale here, and I think Randy's been with us here about 25 years. So from my 9th grade on up, the longevity of the coaching staff, we don't really even have to meet. When football season comes, we get our position players, our names and stuff, because our because our workouts have not changed in forever. And the kids know exactly what we do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. They know what we do, what goes on those particular days. Like, they all know that we work goal line defensively on Tuesdays, and that has never changed. It's always been on Tuesdays. So that's been the secret to our longevity.
Nice. And talk about, I guess, the other big aspect of it is the relationships you build with those kids and watching them develop. If you're looking for a quick and easy way to raise a bunch of money for your sports team, 99 Pledges is the best way for football teams and booster clubs to raise the most money with the least amount of effort. Donors can donate online. Each player gets their own donation page that they can share with their friends and family all over the country, like grandparents in Florida by email, text, Facebook, or any of the social media outlets. By going online with 99 Pledges, it's easy to spread the word about your fundraiser, keep everyone involved and informed. Because of this, 99 Pledges has seen teams raise over $30,000. And teams like the Katy Tigers have exceeded their fundraising goal. That's the best part. Teams keep an average of 95% of what they raise. Players don't have to go door to door or track down donations. They can save all that energy for where it counts, on the gridiron. Check them out at 99pledges.com. They are an excellent organization. You're going to be so glad that your next fundraiser is through these guys.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Nice. And talk about, I guess, the other big aspect of it is the relationships you build with those kids and watching them develop.
Well, that's why I do what I do. You know, we have an orientation. There's only 2 days during the off-season program at this time of year that we're not working something toward football physically. Mentally, we're in the room and we have an orientation period with the kids over the rules and so on and so forth. But the kids that are, let's talk about our kids in the pros, the Kevin Smiths and the Earl Thomases, and some of we got Deontay Thompson at Arizona right now, the Chris Coles that played for Denver. When they were freshmen, they sat in that room, and that's part of my packet, and I mentioned those guys. They sat in that room and heard the same speech that them this year as freshmen, that I gave those same guys that grew up. We got some guys sitting in that room that who knows, they may be a pro player in some sport. May not be football, but they got that kind of, a couple of them got that kind of ability if they'll take care of their grades, take care of their body, and prepare themselves and stay on the right side of the street, not veer from the path. They got a chance. But the whole deal is, you know, they've heard the same things that those guys do every year, you know. And I'm going to speak on linebacker play here in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to talk about how I start developing my linebackers. Same thing with those guys as freshmen and the good linebackers that we've had here over the years. You know, I prepare them the same way. I haven't seen a need to change. We haven't changed our weight program in forever, and we're still pumping that iron like we always do and work the same workouts. So I love what I'm doing, and I love to see the kids develop, watch them develop from freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors as they come up. But the biggest thing about my job is I look for them to come back and tell me, thank you, Coach, or come back and see me, that they're successful people and members of society. They've raised their family. I got one that was a linebacker. He owns his own company in Phoenix, Arizona, and my son communicates with him all the time, and he told him, he says, there's not a day doesn't go by with my people that I don't use some term that I heard your dad or Coach Thompson say. So we try to apply this to the blue collar that you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get paid on Friday, and that's the foundation of our program.
I love that. And talk about like a new parent moving into the district or maybe starting out in the program. What expectations do you give them?
Well, I bring them in, and I will set them down. They'll call me from the office and say, we have a young man, he wants to play football. The parents are with him. I bring him down. We set him down. I've got my brochure here, so to speak, the expectations of the program, both on and off the field, the rules, and it's a contract now. Mm-hmm. And I have the parents sign that contract along with the player that we set out and go over everything. I tell them how we work out. I suggest strongly that they get involved in other sports than football here because I want to see them compete. Mm-hmm. Most of our kids compete in everything, in well, not everything, but other sports.
Right.
But I do have 4 or 5 that are just football players. But we go over that whole thing with them sitting here, and then we talk about our classes. The reason you're here is to get that diploma, and you're not going to be disruptive to the educational process, or there'll be strong consequences. And I explain that to the parents, and they're all in agreement most mm-hmm. of the time. In fact, I had a home visit 2 nights ago with a single parent and one of the players, so I am on call all the time. So I will go to the house and talk with. I'm the only man in their life. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that's how I handle that situation. So, and right now we'll see if that little home visit will what it usually does. It usually mm-hmm. does. But we stay after their grades, checking their grades, and we talk to them about why they're at school, and we talk about all the time. There's 3 things that will interrupt your whole season or make your whole season. Number 1, injuries. I can't stand. They hear me say this all the time. I can't stand to see anybody get hurt, but we got a trainer, and we will rehab you. Number mm-hmm. 2 is attitude. Your attitude controls your whole well-being. I'm talking about in life, on the job, here in the classroom, in Mustang football. And your attitude is going to get right or get on the same page with us, or you can't be part of this now. And grades and injuries and attitude and discipline is the bottom thing. You're going to do right. You're going to do right when you're here. So that's what I talk to the parents about. And I got to say it's on the wall, and one of my favorite sayings is all the time, it's not your way, it's not my way, it's a Mustang way. And the kids coming here talking about going to play on the next level, that they're D1. You be D1 in the classroom first. You be D1 in the community, and you be D1. Then you got a shot at being D1 in athletics. But you got to take care of that business first.
Nice. So when a kid just joins football, say in junior high, you've been doing this long enough that I'm guessing you can just see the kid walking up and have a good idea of what position. But do you have some systems for making sure you put them in the right position? Well,
my coaching staff down at the middle school, and that's what we talk about all the time, especially the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. Can't have a guy there that's borderline grades, when it comes to practice. And that's another thing I want to say, too, right now. Our kids don't miss practice here at West Orange-Stark. There's a reason, a strong reason. If they do, they're sick, they're almost in the ICU. We just don't miss practice here. So down at the middle school, I have parameters as far as picking your quarterback here. Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that one year they had one, and they said, well, he can throw the ball. I said, how many times you going to throw the ball during the game? I want a solid citizen who has good grades that the kids will follow. Now, they always don't hit right, The kids mm-hmm. come out of Pop Warner, and they all think they're running backs and receivers, but they're pretty close. But when mm-hmm. we get them up here in the 9th grade, and I look at them in the weight room, and we do our tests in the weight room with our running, our speed, our size, our lifts, our strength, then we will try to get those kids in the position that they can make a contribution to the football team. And we've always been pretty good here defensively. Everybody can't play defense at West Orange-Stark, so we're very selective. And I look at them closely, at what kind of athlete they are, especially with a power clean, with our clean exercises and stuff, power clean, clean and squat, stuff like that. I watch those guys, those athletic lifts and stuff in the weight room, and I watch them closely, and that's how we choose or try to get our guys to where they can possibly make a strong contribution to Mustang football. And we've been pretty good over the years, because by the time a kid is a sophomore, he's pretty much locked in. The only reason that we would change positions with some kids, example, offensively, he might be a tight end. We don't have any linemen this year, we're short on linemen. He may end up going back and becoming a tight end. In fact, we've got 2 in that category this year that are probably going to go back and become linemen, and they were before. One of them moved to a fullback position and one moved to tight end. They're fixing to move back as juniors to an offensive lineman position. Defensively, we look for those people that I start back in the secondary with DBs. If they can't run as well as we'd like for them to run, then we move them down close to the line of scrimmage as strong safeties or flat players. And if we got flat players that's got some size, they may be strong safeties or defensive ends, I may move them sometime into linebacker positions. So it's not very far from where they've been, but it's a minor adjustment. But by the time we get them and have played them a JV schedule, a 9th grade JV schedule, by the time they're sophomores, they're pretty much locked into where they're going to play the rest of their life for the Mustangs.
Love it. All right, and finally, Coach, you mentioned at the beginning of the show that you had offers to go coach in Louisiana, but you wanted to get to Texas. For people who don't get it, like you and I, how is Texas different?
Well, in Louisiana, you have you got your great athletes in Louisiana, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And they may be ahead of Texas as far as their all-season rules, but a lot of places in Louisiana, you don't have full coaching staff. Some of those guys that come in to coach are volunteer coaches that may be a truck driver or something of that nature, And number one sport in the state of Texas, and I'm not down in Louisiana, but the number one sport in the state of Texas is and always has been football. And the guys, and I tell those referees on Friday night when they screw up a call, in my opinion, they screwed one up. I tell him right now, I said, this is my first job, guy, and I'm going to go home and have to chew on this the rest of the night. and it's your second job, and you're going to go to work on Monday morning and not worry about this, but I got to do something about fixing it or about this loss of this game, or you put me in a position where. But Texas football is number one, is king. There's a lot of sacrifices, not that they're not in Louisiana, but most closely related game, in my opinion, to life there is, as far as sacrifices, responsibilities, and even consequences, for good and bad, for how you perform your job. So football in Texas is number one, always has been and always will be in my lifetime. That may change, but I don't believe I'll be living when it does. So, bottom line.
Amen. Well, Coach Cornel Thompson, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing some of your insight.
Yes, sir. Well, you call me anytime. Thank you very much, Chris. I hope y'all have a great day.
All right, you too. Hey, once again, I want to thank Coach Cornel Thompson for sitting down and sharing some of his story with us. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. And I want to ask you a favor. Please share this episode with friends, with fellow coaches, with fellow fans of high school football. Anybody you think could benefit from these great messages, please do us a favor and share them. As always, I'm your host, Chris Daly, and we'll see you at the game.